I have been obsessed with Obsession. It's like someone took the One Wish Willow and broke it in half right in front of me and said, Grant, until you make a video, you're not going to stop thinking about this. So therefore, that's what we're doing. So the title of this video is something to the lines of The Secret Villain of Obsession. Now, to get it out of the way, the obvious villain is, of course, Nikki. She should have just liked Bear to begin. I'm kidding. The Secret Villain of Obsession, first we have to establish the obvious villain of Obsession, and then we can talk about the secret villain of Obsession. The obvious villain of Obsession is, of course, Bear, but I want to break down how the movie structures its villains in the scope of the entire film, and because I think it's really interesting, and maybe you'll find it interesting too. So the first act, just a general plot overview, and then I'm going to go over what each act, how it portrays its villain, and how it portrays it and what who the villain actually is. The overarching obvious villain is Bear, but I think the way the movie on a first watch and on a rewatch portrays its antagonists. So beginning of the movie, Bear's like, oh my gosh, how do I ask out my crush? And then his best friend Ian's like, well, maybe you don't, bud. They go to trivia night. Bear tries to get her a gift because something happened with her stone that she likes to wear, and Bear says, I'll drive you home. He tries to tell her that the way he feels about her, he calls her Freaky Nikki, which is the one thing you should do with your crushes, call them the name that they're very insecure about, in a way that makes them uncomfortable. And she goes, do you like me? And then he backs out, chickens out, and wishes, and I quote, I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone else in the world. And then she automatically changes. She has moments where, and then she's like, oh, my dad's sick. He has cancer. Can I please just spend the night at your house because I really just don't want to be alone right now? Basically, that's the first act. The second act is an escalation of her behavior, along with Bear finding out that his wish really did work and that her actions are directly caused by his wish. Like, this isn't Nikki as she would, this is Nikki as Bear's wish would. And then the third act is just, it all falls apart. Okay, full spoilers from here on out, but you find out a couple things. You find out that Bear's best friend Ian has been sleeping with Nikki on and off for like the past 2 years, and he didn't tell him. Nikki bashes someone's head with a brick, and then at the end of the day, Ian's dead because he wished for $1 billion instead of helping out Bear with his wish to help free Nikki. And then he gets shot in the head, and then Sarah's dead. Sarah's this other person that we haven't even talked about yet. Bear ends up taking pills, and right before he's about to throw them up, Wish Nikki breaks the One Wish Willow and says that, you know, probably I wish Bear loved me more than anyone else in the world. And so then he becomes Wish Bear, and then he dies from the pills, freeing Nikki, because that's the rule about the One Wish Willow, is that you have to die, the person who made the wish has to die, and then the wish becomes untrue, or something else, or someone has to make a wish that contradicts your wish. And then that's the general plot of the movie. Now, separating first act, second act, third act, we've already established Bear is the villain. And when does Bear become the villain? I think we all know this, but it's nice to establish it for the rest of the class, which is Bear is the villain at what is my favorite scene in the entire movie, which is the restaurant scene. It's the scene that I saw that was like, that made me say, I need to see that flippin' movie.
Bear, I love you so much. I don't think I could live without you.
You love me more than anyone in the world?
Yes, more than anyone.
Nikki, does your dad really have cancer?
No. No.
What?
No, don't do it! I thought we were having a nice day!
That moment is where Bear finds out that his wish changed Nikki, that all these things that are happening to her, the reason why she lied about her dad having cancer, that's because of his wish. So it's not something Nikki would do, but it's something that his wish caused Nikki to do. And then he sleeps with her. And that's terrible. That's awful. Hate that. That is the moment when I think Bear becomes a villain. He's an enemy against himself in the ways of his passivity, and I think that is something that carries on through the rest of the film. But I think him as an actual bad person is exemplified in that moment. Not saying he's necessarily like a bad person before, because that's intent versus, I don't know. Neither here nor there. Point is, he definitely is the bad guy at that point. The way the movie frames who the bad guy is, though, is very different. And that's what I like it. That's why I like it so much. When you get to the third act reveal that Bear's best friend Ian and Nikki were like basically having an on again, off again thing for like the past 2 years, that recontextualizes everything that Ian said in the first act, in the very first scene, where he's like, hey, maybe don't ask her out. You have plenty of time. Just don't push it, because he doesn't care. Because, I mean, you're sleeping with your best friend's crush, not telling him anything. The thing about it, though, so that in the first act, the movie after the fact in the third act paints Ian as the enemy of the first act, because he's giving Bear bad advice. He's like, hey, she hates to be called Freaky Nikki because of her high school persona. You should like tease her about that. Even though she has explicitly said, please don't say that. I hate that. That makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel bad and gross and weird. So don't do that. The second that he does it in the car scene, in the drop-off scene where he makes the wish, she's like, please, what the flip are you doing? Do you like me? Like, I think she recognizes in that scene that he is getting that advice from Ian, because that sounds like an Ian thing to do. The second act, in your first time watching it, it paints Nikki as the enemy, as the bad guy, as the antagonist, as the weirdo, because, you know, she's doing all the things with his cat, like putting cat in his food, and, you know, doing the whole like standing there like this for like 24 hours or whatever, not 24 hours, 8 hours, doing all these weird things that are incredibly unhinged. They only get more unhinged, culminating in the end of the second act, I would say, which is the one scene where she breaks the bottle over her head. And it's like, it's not me. Like, that's, oh gosh, that was such a good scene. And then the third act properly paints Bear as the bad guy. I also love the addition that they made. The actor that plays Bear said that he made this change, or approached making this change to Curry Barker, the director, and said, I want Bear to try to throw up the pills. And I think that's such a good scene, such a good moment, because it just exemplifies Bear's passivity and Bear's cowardiceness until the end. And I don't know, I thought that was such a nice touch. But yeah, I think that Ian is the villain in some respect, in like a normal way, and then Bear's a villain in an abnormal way. Ian gave bad advice that no friend should give to another friend. And he did things that no friend should do to another friend, or just not telling them, you know what I mean? And Bear is the bad guy because of all that stuff he did. Like, there's no other way to put it. Sarah didn't deserve that. Nikki didn't deserve that. Bear has inflicted his bad vibes on everyone. Bear sucks. So just a little thought I had about Obsession. Have a great one. Bubble, bobble, double, dribble, double, dragon, F-Zero.
I get it. You memorize
F-Zero X. Donkey Kong Jr. Math. Ninja Gaiden 1. Ninja Gaiden 2. Ninja Gaiden 3. Cruise USA.